Let me take you more than 200 years back when, on the morning of the Battle of Waterloo in 1815, Napoleon Bonaparte smugly assured his generals and said, I tell you, Wellington is a bad general. The English are bad soldiers. We will settle this matter by lunchtime. Well, what happened in that one single day changed the world. Napoleon not just lost the battle, it also marked the end of the Napoleonic Wars and also set a historical milestone between serial European wars and decades of relative peace in the continent. Anyways, let's move almost 100 years later to 1912, just before the Titanic was about to embark on its first journey. One passenger asked her ship's agent for extra insurance on some valuables in her luggage, and the agent replied, That's ridiculous. This boat is unsinkable. In fact, Captain Smith of Titanic himself was asked about the safety of the Titanic, and he answered, I cannot imagine any condition which would cause a ship to founder. I cannot conceive of any vital disaster happening to this vessel. Modern shipbuilding has gone beyond that. Then, after the ship had struck the iceberg, a passenger asked her employer if they should do something about it, and he replied, Go back to bed because this ship is unsinkable. But as we all know, the unsinkable Titanic met a tragic fate. Fast forward to 2008, fund managers in India who were betting big on infrastructure and reality stocks, when asked about the valuations at which they were buying such stocks, they said real estate and infra are the new gold and prices will continue to head north. And I was right there at the center of it all. As an analyst in 2008, I asked my friends and relatives to hold on to great stocks, expecting that these cannot fall more than 10-15%, whatever the markets did. And as a team at my ex employer, we were asking clients to hold on to stocks and buy at every dip, despite sensing a greatest danger with every breaking news coming out of the financial system. The rest, as you know, is not history, but reality. Anyways, if you have sensed by now, there is a common thread that binds all these situations and events that I just shared with you. And if not, let me tell you that that common thread is that of arrogance. You see, when we are repeatedly successful, like Napoleon, or fund managers and stock market analysts during prolonged rising markets, we are tempted to believe that we have found the formula for success and we are no longer subject to human fallibility. But as I have realized and also experienced firsthand, this is dangerous thinking, especially in a world that is continuously changing and where every right idea is eventually the wrong one. Now, with an arrogant attitude, we often stop paying attention to different points of view and information that contradicts our beliefs. And even if the world around us is expected to fall under its weight, we believe we are not subject to the same constraints as others. So, when I was working as an analyst and after analyzing a stock threadbare and finding its valuations attractive, my first thought would be that I have done my homework, so let me act on it now. I never stopped to ask this question like Napoleon or Captain Smith that what if I am wrong? And that's a very important question we must ask ourselves during times when we are full of certainties that whatever we may be thinking would be right. Now, here I am reminded of what the legendary investor Seth Klarman wrote to his shareholders in a letter in 1996. So he wrote, and I quote, We regard investing as an arrogant act. An investor who buys is effectively saying that he or she knows more than the seller and the same or more than other prospective buyers. Now, this statement from Klarman contains a big truth that I, as an investor, ignored all these years. So I bought a stock because I thought my analysis was right. I thought my calculation of the stock's intrinsic value was right. I thought my decision to buy the stock was right, even when I always wondered what could be the reason someone else was selling the same stock. All in all, my arrogance of being right made me buy several stocks over these years before I started asking this important question: what if I am wrong? Now, while I'm satisfied with my long term returns, I consider a large part of my performance a result of luck than my own aptitude of picking up the right stocks. And you may ask, why do I say so? Well, the reason is that in considering myself the most right and thus the most arrogant investor in the world, I often fail to tell myself the most important thing that an investor must tell himself before buying or selling a stock or making any such decision. And that thing is, but I might be wrong. It's a very important statement, but I might be wrong. And this statement now lies at every major decision point of my investing checklist. Like after I've done my research on a company, And after I've calculated a stock's intrinsic value, and before I make the final decision to buy a stock, I always ask myself, what if I am wrong? After providing for a numerical margin of safety to my intrinsic value estimates, this statement serves as an extra layer of margin of safety. It acts as a check on my arrogance because it leads me to do a review of my analysis and assumptions before I go ahead with my final decision. Anyways, here is what Klarman also said in an interview with Charlie Rose in 2012, which I quote: "You need to balance arrogance and humility. When you buy anything, it's an arrogant act. You are saying the markets are gyrating and somebody wants to sell this to me, and I know more than everybody else, so I am going to stand here and buy it. I am going to pay one eighth more than the next guy wants to pay and buy it. That is arrogant. And you need the humility to say, but I might be wrong. And you have to do that on everything." Quotes closed. This is a very interesting concept, and the one that I, like most investors, did not fully consider when purchasing a stock earlier, though I have now learnt my lessons the hard way. The noted Wall Street Journal columnist Jason Zweig, in his commentary for chapter 20 of Ben Graham's The Intelligent Investor, which I talked about in the previous episode, he wrote, and I quote, "Risk exists in another dimension, and that is inside you. If you overestimate how well you really understand an investment or overstate your ability to ride out a temporary plunge in prices, it does not matter what you own or how the market does. Ultimately, financial risk resides not in what kinds of investments you have, but in what kind of investor you are. If you want to know what risk really is, go to the nearest bathroom and step up to the mirror. That is risk, gazing back at you from the mirror." Before I end, all I can say is that staying humble with your analysis and forecasting powers will keep you from risking too much in a view of the future that may well turn out to be wrong. So, by all means, you should lower your expectations, but take care not to depress your spirit. For the intelligent investor, hope always springs eternal because it should. I have learned these important lessons by being an arrogant investor in the past, and now I am practicing to be humble by telling myself this before making an investment decision, but I might be wrong, and double checking my analysis and assumptions. So remember, the real risk is not in the stocks you choose, but in your own overconfidence. Stay humble in your analysis, and you will be better equipped to navigate the ever changing world of investing. Thanks for tuning in, and please don't forget to like this video and share it with your fellow investors. Also, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more such videos and insights. Until next time, stay humble and invest wisely. Thank you so much.